Hi, I'm Martin and I'm a Learning Skills Advisor here at Federation University. In the last video we looked at quoting, but we didn't look at the details of how to quote, and in this video I'm going to look at some of those details. Things like, how many words should I quote? And do I put the quotation inside my own writing or let it stand on its own? We'll look at some of these issues in this video. First of all, how many words can you quote? Well, this is a bit like asking how long is a piece of string? How long is the document you're writing? Is it a standard 3,000 word university essay or is it a 500-page PhD thesis? In general, the larger the document, the more acceptable it is to have large chunks of quoted information. And in the case of a PhD, sometimes this can be paragraph length. It's wise to keep your use of quoted information to a bare minimum. In the case of a university assignment, that should be about 3 lines for any one author and no more than about 6 lines in total. After all, the reader's not that interested in how much you can copy. How much you quote depends in part on what you're quoting. Try to apply the principles of fair use when using quoted material. That is, use only enough quoted material for the purposes of analysis, exposition or criticism. Do this in consideration of the subject you are studying. In some subjects, such as English literature, it may be expected or even necessary to use larger quoted passages to direct your readers. There's a good technique to use to keep your quotes short: ellipses. Ellipses are 3 full stops in sequence, following any punctuation mark appearing in the text. They tell the reader that you've deliberately omitted some passage from the original source material. Providing you use ellipses correctly, it's a perfectly acceptable way of shortening long quotations. To make sure you use ellipses correctly, here are some things to be aware of. Use 3 dots if you're omitting material within one sentence. The ellipses, 3 dots, should follow a full stop if taking material between sentences or across a page. Thirdly, insert ellipses at a natural break in the source material. In this example, I don't really need to tell the reader where Churchill is, and it's a natural break in the text as indicated by the commas. And finally, never change the meaning of the author by leaving material out. Let's take this example. If we put the ellipses in the wrong place, it misleadingly suggests that Gippsland is one of the best places to study, not just in Victoria, but everywhere. And that's not what the author intended. Another important thing is the use of quotations. What kind of quotation mark should you use? Double quotes or single quotes? Well, this depends very much on the style guide you're using. American style guides tend to use double quotation marks for quotes and single quotation marks for quotes within quotes or for emphasis. Sometimes these are known as scare quotes. British style guides tend to use the opposite. The important thing is to be consistent and to consult a style guide. I mentioned before that when writing a standard length university essay, try not to quote more than 3 lines from any one author. Quotes of this length should be integrated in your own writing. Quotes longer than this can be set off in their own paragraph and indented about 1 centimetre from the left-hand margin. If you indent quotes or use block quotes like this, you don't need to provide quotation marks. I mentioned the importance of integrating quotes in your own writing. What about if you want to change someone's quoted information? For example, by changing the tense, or changing singular into plural, or plural into singular. Well, this can be done by using square brackets, and this is called interpolation. Interpolation allows the use of quoted material to fit in better with your own writing. And again, providing you don't change the meaning the author intended, this is perfectly acceptable. Let's say one more thing about interpolation. Sometimes you'll see the word sic in square brackets. What on earth does this mean? Well, this is a Latin inscription, sic are scriptum, or thus it is written. This basically tells the reader that when you see sic present, you're telling the reader that the writer's made a mistake, some kind of glaring error, and you're telling the reader, the error is not mine. Sick should not be used indiscriminately. As a student, you're not acting as an editor. However, you may see it used in video transcripts. In fact, it's quite commonly used here because people make mistakes in speech that they would never make in writing. The rules of quoting may seem strict, but think of them like road rules. The rules are there to make things easier and clearer for the reader. Thanks for listening.